Hello and welcome back to Hyperplay RPG. With all the inevitability of an impending Nintendo lawsuit, Anbernic have just showcased a new handheld console. The RG406H, being the horizontal version of the recently released RG406V. This is going to be something of the usual alphanumeric soup, I'm afraid. Comes in 3 colorways, as we'll see in more detail soon. You had a showcase of the white, which seems very similar to the 406V's creamy white, but we'll need to have a closer look to see if it is a pure white. And lo, it very much verily appears to be a pure white rather than the beigey white creamy mashup on the RG406V, which some people were put off a bit by. But the 406H does happily seem to be supporting those nice new thumbsticks that people seem to prefer so much over the old style ones. And here's the clear purple variant, which I think will be more impressive in person. It looks a bit washed out there, but from other images we've seen, it is a very nice option. And then of course, yes, classic black. But let's not rule out classic black, because yes, there do appear to be some bezels on that screen, and they will blend much better into the black colorway than they do, for instance, on the white or the purple. Now, in terms of the emulation prowess that Anbernic are showing off here, it's the tried and tested T820 chip that we've seen in 3 different Anbernic models, the RG556, the RG Cube, and the aforementioned RG406V. We know it can do a good smattering, more than a good smattering of PS2 and GameCube and Wii, and even a tiny bit of light, very light Nintendo Switch. Of course, in terms of form factor, this most resembles the RG Cube, which was a 1:1 4-inch screen. And again, we have a 4-inch screen here, of course. Personally, I failed to see the attraction of the 1:1 screen. The games I'm most interested in playing, and the vast majority of games being emulated, will be in 4:3, and that's what this screen is on the 406H, 4:3, like it was on the 406V. So I think that's much more preferable if you're looking for an authentic PS2, GameCube, PS1 and all those other systems below experience. So yes, we'd much rather have this one, the 406H, over the Cube because of the difference in screen ratio, but also, yes, you do get these newer analog sticks which should last longer. We're not completely bothered about the analog stick issue, quite happy for cardinals snapping to 8 directions when we play our role-playing games, and we're not big into fighting games, we certainly don't need to play them on a professional level, and a lot of the old fighting games only used 8 directions anyway. A lot of the consoles that this little machine will be emulating don't need a vast array of movement on the analog sticks, we think, but you know, we very much attended and flunked the old school, so I know younger gamers will be pleased to have a greater degree of movement because they've been used to the fantastic gamepads of the Xbox and so on. So yes, we think the 406H is an improvement, certainly to our taste anyway, over the RG Cube. But if you've got a 406V or a 556 already, then really don't see the need for you to go for the RG406H. But for a lot of people, this is the one they've been waiting for. Good PS2 and GameCube emulation at a good price, and we'll come on to the different prices of all the options, because there are so many now in this area, around and below the $200 mark. But being able to play PS2, GameCube in native 4:3 aspect ratio is what a lot of people want, and for a price that will, very soon, be coming down towards the mythical $100 mark. Because you can bet your bottom dollar that Anbernic are going to, as they always do, significantly discount these devices a few months down the line. So what will the price be for the RG406H? Almost certainly it's going to start off at the same price as the V, $165, reduced by $10 for early bird buyers, and for UK purposes that puts it around the £130 mark, which is a pretty compelling proposition. So around £130 is still cheaper than you can get the RG556 for, or maybe about the same price now that the RG556 has been discounted on the Anbernic website. But certainly on AliExpress, with its OLED screen, the RG and bigger OLED screen, RG556, has been pretty solid at staying at around the £150 mark. Can't get it for a huge amount less. So let's get stuck into the prices. As I'm a blighter from Blighty, the prices shown here will be in pounds sterling, but it won't be so different to dollars once you take into account that you guys over in the States have to pay less taxes and charges than we do. So the RG406V can now be had for as little as £114 on AliExpress. And if you're patient, the H will come down to that too, I'm sure. Then going up a bit, the RG Cube, much maligned by us. You don't really see the point unless you're huge into Pico 8 games, £124. And slightly more than that on release, we expect the Anbernic RG406H to be about £128 on release. But bear in mind that'll soon come down to the price of the RG406V on AliExpress, down to about 113 if you're willing to wait. And then, like we said, more expensive, the RG556, but less than I thought, 140 quid. So those are your 4 Anbernic options with the T820 chipset. Want something very similar in form factor to the RG406H, but with a little bit more oomph? Well, look no further than the Retroid Pocket Mini. Down to £163 on AliExpress. It'll be less with coupons. That's a superb deal if you want a small pocketable with extra oomph. Given that one sports the Snapdragon 865, it can do more PS2 and more GameCube, as well as pretty much all your Wii classics and a fair smattering of light Switch games as well. More than a fair smattering if you're willing to tinker with Mesa Turnip drivers and so on. And then of course most expensive is our old friend, the Retroid Pocket 5. It's not quite ready yet. However, while Retroid are no doubt busily perfecting the Android 13 system, a listing's popped up on AliExpress. £250 for the Retroid Pocket 5. It's a pre-order, but you can get that price down with coupons to £228 delivered. We say delivered with a question mark because it's AliExpress, so you never know if you're going to be empty boxed, and that caveat applies to all purchases from them obviously. But with almost no import charges, it can often be worth the risk. Even with the discount, that's still about £100 more than £100 more than the lowest Anbernic offerings with the T820 chip. So why might you want to go for the Retroid Pocket 5? Well, the bigger, glorious AMOLED screen, but also it packs that Snapdragon 865, and again, once Retroid have perfected the Android 13 system, it will be able to do a lot more of the higher end emulation than the Anbernic T820 suite of console variants. Or you can do what we did, and for the same price as the Anbernic consoles in this area, you can get hold of a second-hand S21 FE with Snapdragon 888, particularly if you live in the States. Pair it with a Galileo G8 telescopic controller, and you've got yourself a superb and much more powerful console than anything we've mentioned today. Now, we know it's not for everyone. A lot of people will be put off by the immense width and the size of the thing, but it can be portable. You can chuck it into a Butterfox slim grip carry case. Originally intended for a Switch with Hori SplitPad Pro controllers attached, but it does the job admirably for your 6.4-inch phone, particularly if you add these helpful little foam rings that were provided with the Galileo G8. You pop those on top, and then you make sure that the sticks, those glorious sticks, not that we're worried too much about sticks, will be nice and safe and snug inside that case. What a time to be alive. No matter what your budget, there is a quality console for you in this area, playing PS2, GameCube, Wii, and a bit of Switch. Not to mention all those glorious Android games, and Android gaming is getting better and better, isn't it? You want the best vertical? 406V. A cute little horizontal, great for Pico 8 games? The RG Cube. A 5.5-inch AMOLED screen but you can't afford an RP5? Then go for the RG556. Something a bit more premium than the 406H there? It'll be the RP Mini for you. Or maybe you just want the latest and hopefully soon to be greatest, the Retroid Pocket 5. There is something for everyone, and it's absolutely glorious. So what do you think? You tempted to pick up any of these? All I would say is at the moment there are great sales going on AliExpress and the Anbernic website. Bit more risk, I would say, going on the AliExpress side, although it will be cheaper ultimately in terms of shipping and import costs. The choice, as they say, is yours. As always, thanks for tuning in, and happy gaming, vertical or horizontal. Goodbye.